Hi, I'm Leo Vance, 32, and I got dumped at the altar because my fiance's ex bought her a Ferrari. Yeah, you read that right. A Ferrari. You spend your life trying to be a good man. Steady, reliable, decent. You think that'll earn you love, maybe even a little peace. I'm an architectural historian, which is just a fancy way of saying I spend my days obsessing over old buildings and forgotten maps. I like quiet things. My fiancée, Clara, didn't. She liked shiny things, shoes that cost rent money, restaurants where the cocktails came in fog. Still, I thought she loved me. Until the day she texted from the altar. It was a Saturday in June, hot enough to make the stained glass in the church shimmer. I was standing there in a tailored suit that cost more than my car, staring at 150 guests waiting for the music to start. The organist shuffled nervously through sheet music. My best man, Ronan, whispered, "Maybe traffic." Clara was 20 minutes late. Her mother, mean, all pearls and plastic sympathy, patted my arm. She's always been so scatterbrained. Then my phone buzzed, a text from Clara. "I'm not coming. I'm so sorry, but I can't. Julian is here. He bought me a Ferrari, a red one. I just can't throw away true love. Sorry, not sorry, X." I read it 3 times, thinking maybe my brain misfired. A Ferrari. She dumped me at the altar via text message for her crypto bro ex. The church was dead silent. Father Thomas whispered, "Son, should we?" "Give me a minute, Father," I said, calm as glass. Everyone's eyes were on me, and all I could think was, she really did it. She traded me, and our future, for a car. The funny thing, I wasn't even heartbroken. I was just done. Because what Clara didn't know, what I'd never told her, was that I had a $10 million trust fund that would only vest if I got married before my 33rd birthday. For weeks away, I didn't tell her because I wanted someone who loved me, not my inheritance. And apparently, I got my answer. So I pulled up a screenshot my lawyer had sent me. The clause in the will, bold and clear. Upon the legal marriage of my grandson Leo Alistair Vance before his 33rd birthday, the full $10 million trust shall vest. I highlighted that line, sent it to her. Then I typed, "Enjoy the car. I'm sure it's worth it." I hit send, and then, from outside the church, I heard it, a scream. Not the happy kind, the sound of her realizing the limo, the one I'd told the driver to leave without her if she wasn't there by 2:15, was speeding away. It was 2:23. I turned to the stunned crowd and said, loud enough for the whole church to hear, "I'm afraid there won't be a wedding today. My fiancé has accepted a competing offer. It seems a 2019 Ferrari beats a 2016 Honda." A few people gasped. A few laughed. "The catering's paid for," I added. "Reception hall's booked. It's an open bar. Please, go enjoy yourselves." My treat. And with that, I walked out the side door, into the sunlight, and didn't look back. It's been 1 week since the wedding that wasn't, and my phone has turned into a haunted object. I turned it off for 2 days after leaving the church. Just walked around the city like a ghost. No destination, no plan. Checked into a cheap extended stay hotel that smelled like cleaning spray and despair. When I finally turned my phone back on, I had 88 missed calls. Most were from Clara's mother. Her first voicemail started polite. "Leo, please call me back. We just want to talk." By voicemail number 5, it was pure rage. "You humiliated my daughter. Hiding that money was financial abuse. She made a mistake. A silly mistake. You're supposed to love her, not trick her. You owe us, US." That word hit me like a hammer. Then came the texts, from Clara herself, but from her bridesmaid's phone. "Leo, baby, please. Julian's gone. He lied about the Ferrari. It's not even new." I panicked. "I didn't mean it. We can still fix this. We can go to the courthouse. We can make the deadline. Please, Leo. I love you." The deadline. My 33rd birthday. For weeks, except I'd already seen what love meant to Clara, because that morning, my credit card company sent me a fraud alert, a decline charge for $20,000 at Exotic Auto Leasing. Date: the morning of the wedding. She hadn't just chosen the Ferrari. She'd tried to use my card to help Julian buy it. That wasn't heartbreak. That was a transaction. I called my lawyer, Naomi, a ruthless, uncheckable woman who treats emotion like a mosquito bite. "Freeze your cards," she said. "Send me the evidence. Then go get your things, with police escort. Don't engage." So, I did. 2 officers came with me. Both looked like they'd seen too many messy breakups. I knocked. Clara opened the door, mascara running, hair tangled, eyes hopeful. "Leo," she whispered. "Thank God. I knew you'd come back." I stepped back. "I'm here for my laptop and clothes." Her face changed. The tears stopped midstream. "What? Who are they?" She gestured at the cops. "You're having me arrested?" The female officer sighed. "Ma'am, he's the leaseholder. He's retrieving his property. You're not under arrest." Then came the venom. "You bastard. You're kicking me out? After everything you did to me. Where am I supposed to go?" "You went to Julian's pretty quick," I said, stuffing my suitcase with shirts. "He left me," she shouted. "He said I was too much drama." "You're really doing this? You're going to throw away $10 million just to spite me? You think anyone else will marry your boring ass in 3 weeks? You need me." I stopped at the door and looked her dead in the eye. "I'd rather have nothing, Clara, than one more conversation with you. The cops stay." Well, I left. She screamed behind me, calling me heartless, pathetic, a fool, and maybe I was. Because as the elevator doors closed, I realized she was half right. I didn't just lose a fiancé. I was losing time. 3 weeks left until my 33rd birthday, and no one in their right mind marries a man with a tabloid-worthy ex and a trust fund deadline. Or so I thought. 2 weeks later, I was halfway through my hotel's entire minibar and fully submerged in legal chaos. Clara wasn't going quietly. First came the lawsuit. Yes, an actual lawsuit. Breach of promise to marry. Her lawyer's face was on a bus bench, which told me everything I needed to know. The claim that I maliciously abandoned her at the altar and inflicted emotional distress by concealing my $10 million trust fund. Her argument: had she known about the money, she would never have been temporarily confused by a Ferrari. Translation: she only betrayed you because you didn't disclose how profitable it would have been not to. Naomi, my lawyer, nearly cried laughing. "Breach of promise isn't even recognized in this state," she said. "We'll get it dismissed and countersue for fees." But that was just the warm-up. The real problem: Clara refused to move out of my apartment. I'd sent a 30-day eviction notice through Naomi. Clara tore it up. Then she changed the locks. When I went to check, I could hear my TV inside. "My TV." I knocked. "Go away, Leo," she yelled. "You'll have to drag me out. I have rights." "You're not on the lease, Clara. You made this worse. You're a vindictive, horrible man. I'm calling the cops for harassment." I just stood there, in a hallway of my own building, holding a useless key. When I called Naomi, she sighed like I'd told her my dog ate my taxes. "She's now a squatter. We'll start formal eviction proceedings. It's slow, but airtight. Don't go near her." I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 2 nights later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. "Is this Leo Vance?" "Yes." "This is Julian." "Ah." "Clara's ex." I nearly crushed my phone. "What do you want?" He exhaled. "She's blowing up my phone. Man, she's insane. Keeps saying I ruined her $10 million payday and that I owe her. She's threatening to sue me now." I just wanted to say sorry, man. The Ferrari was a rental. 3 days. "I didn't think she'd actually leave you at the altar." I laughed, sharp and humorless. "Yet, Julian, it was cold. Thanks for the confession." Click. But even that didn't prepare me for the next day. My pie, a gruff ex-cop I'd hired to document Clara's squatting, called. "You might want to sit down, kid. She sold your stuff." "What stuff?" "For framed maps, old ones. Sold them to a rare print dealer downtown for 18 grand. My blood turned to lava. Those weren't just maps. They were my grandfather's 17th century celestial charts, his gift to me when I got my degree. The only part of him I actually loved. I drove straight to the shop, walked in, found them on the wall, already reframed. "These are mine," I said to the owner. He blinked. "Excuse me?" "She stole them. I have proof. Photos, insurance appraisals, the lot." He paled. "This is highly irregular." "Here's my lawyer's car," I said. "And here's the police report I'm filing in 5 minutes. That got his attention. 5 minutes after I left, my phone rang. "You sent the cops?" Clara screamed. "You're pressing charges over some dusty old paper." "I needed money. Leo, you cut me off. You forced me to sell them. You owe me." The call cut out when she realized she'd just admitted to felony theft. So that's where I stood. Clara squatting in my apartment, suing me for $5 million, facing her own felony charge for stealing my grandfather's maps, and me. 15 days from my 33rd birthday, unmarried and exhausted. For the first time, I didn't care about the trust fund. I just wanted peace, but peace was still a long way off, because Clara wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. The courtroom smelled like old carpet and burnt coffee. The kind of place where dignity goes to die. Naomi stood next to me, crisp and calm in a charcoal suit, flipping through files like she was ordering lunch. Across the aisle sat Clara, her hair perfect again, dressed like a widow in a low-budget soap opera. Her lawyer, the one from the bus bench, was sweating through his collar. This was eviction day. The judge, an older woman with a voice like sandpaper and zero patience for melodrama, flipped open the case file. "Miss Clara, are you on the lease?" Clara's chin trembled. "No. But, are you paying rent?" "I was going to. Did you change the locks on a dwelling you don't legally occupy?" Clara's lawyer jumped in. "Your Honor, my client has an emotional stake in the property. She and Mr. Vance were engaged." The judge didn't even look up. "Eviction granted. Defendant has 48 hours to vacate, or the sheriff will escort her out." Bang. "Case closed," Naomi whispered. "Told you she'd fold like a lawn chair." But then came the next hearing. The theft. The district attorney had taken one look at the evidence and said, "Yep, that's felony theft." Between my photos, the dealer's testimony, and the insurance appraisal, it was airtight. Clara's lawyer tried to argue she sold the maps in good faith because she believed she was owed the money. Dada just laughed. In the end, Clara took a plea deal. No contest. 2 years probation. $18,000 in restitution, which she never pay, and a permanent mark on her record. Afterward, I sat in the hallway outside the courtroom, breathing for what felt like the first time in months. Then the door opened. Clara walked out, pale but composed, her mother buzzing beside her like an angry hornet. "Are you happy now?" Clara said, her voice shaking. "You ruined me. I have nothing. No home, no job, no money. All because of you." I stood up, still calm. "All because of you. Clara, you did every part of this yourself." Her mother puffed out, finger trembling. "You'll get what's coming to you. Leo Vance, that trust of yours didn't the deadline pass. You lost it all, didn't you? You're just as broke as we are now. Serves you right." I almost smiled. "Actually," I said, "the trust vested." They froze. "What?" Clara whispered. "No, you didn't. Who would marry you in time?" I just looked at her. Because 2 days before my birthday, when I thought everything was lost, someone did show up. Someone I never expected. Her name was Maya. My best friend. 2 days before my birthday, I was sitting in my hotel room surrounded by takeout containers and unpaid bills, staring at the calendar like it was mocking me. 15 hours left until the trust expired. I wasn't sad anymore, just numb. Then the door rattled. A keycard clicked, and in walked Maya. If you've ever had someone crash into your life like a storm wrapped in good intentions, that's her. My best friend since college. A landscape architect with dirt under her nails and a brain that could outplan God. She stood there, hands on hips. "You look like a man who's been crying into fried rice for 3 days. I've upgraded to cold pizza." I muttered, "Good. Cards build character." She kicked off her boots, sat across from me, and said, "All right, dumbass. We're getting married." I blinked. "You're what? Married?" She repeated, dead serious. "You have a deadline, right? 4 weeks. You're down to what? 2 days. Less. Then we go to the courthouse. You sign. I sign. You keep the trust." Naomi drafts a postnup so tight it could suffocate a lawyer. "Your money stays yours, mine stays mine. We treat it like a business deal." I just stared at her. "You're joking." She folded her arms. "Leo, you let your psycho acts blow up your life, your reputation, and your sanity. Are you really going to let your dead grandfather win too? You'd rather lose $10 million than sign a paper with your best friend?" I didn't have an answer. Because the thing about Maya is she doesn't just make sense. She is sense. We spent an hour hashing it out. Naomi joined over speakerphone, cackling like a Bond villain. "This is the most romantic tax shelter I've ever drafted," she said. The next morning, we went to the courthouse. No music, no flowers, no audience. Just us, a board clerk, and Naomi as witness. We signed. Maya smiled and said, "Well, Mr. Vance, congrats on your extremely unromantic marriage. Then we went out for tacos. She toasted me with a lime Jarritos, to friendship and fine print, and that was it. I didn't feel fireworks. I didn't feel love. I felt free. 2 days later, the trust vested, $10 million, hadn't even cared about anymore was suddenly mine, and the first thing I did was wear Naomi her bonus and pay off every legal bill in sight. Then, when it was all over, I walked back into my apartment for the first time in months. It smelled like lemon cleaner and quiet. The maps were back on the wall. My life was mine again. And for the first time since the text at the altar, I felt like I could breathe. I saw her one last time. Clara, outside the courthouse after the judge threw out her $5 million lawsuit like it was a bad joke. She looked nothing like the woman who'd once practiced smiling for engagement photos. Her hair was brittle, her voice shaky, her eyes empty. She just stood there, trembling. "Are you happy now?" she whispered. "You ruined me. I have nothing. No one." I told her the truth. "You had everything, Clara. You just thought it wasn't enough." Her mother, mean, puffed up behind her like a vulture in pearls. "You'll get what's coming to you, Leo. That money won't buy happiness. You'll die alone in your big, empty apartment." "Maybe," I said, "but at least it'll be quiet." That was the last time I saw either of them. Now, it's been 3 weeks. I'm 33, legally married to my best friend, and surprisingly okay with it. Maya and I don't live together. She likes her sunlight. I like my silence, but we meet every Thursday for dinner. Tonight, she brought pie. "So, Mr. Millionaire," she said, cutting into the crust, "how does it feel to finally win something by accident?" I laughed. "It feels boring." She raised her glass. "Good. You needed boring. And maybe that's the moral, if there is one. Boring doesn't betray you. Boring doesn't steal your grandfather's maps. Boring doesn't text you from the altar about a Ferrari. Boring shows up, signs the papers, eats tacos with you after." I walk through my apartment sometimes and still hear echoes of that day. The guests in the church, the organist shuffling, the silence before everything fell apart. But now there's just the soft hum of peace. The trust is secure. The lawsuits are gone. The maps are home. And me, I'm back to studying buildings that outlast the people who built them, which feels poetic, considering I used to think love was supposed to feel like fireworks. Now I know it's more like architecture, slow, deliberate, quietly astonishing when it stands. So yeah, my ex got a Ferrari. I got freedom, friendship, and a future that's actually mine. And that, as far as I'm concerned, is worth a hell of a lot more than $10 million. Hi, I'm Leo, 32, the guy whose girlfriend called him boring on Instagram, while I was literally buying her a $3,000 anniversary gift. Yeah, that was the moment something in me snapped, not loudly, not dramatically. It was quieter than that. Like a lock clicking shot from the inside. I'm a planner, always have been. I plan my vacations, my finances, my meals. So naturally, I had our 4th anniversary planned to the minute. Dinner reservations at that impossible to book tasting menu, a tailored suit, and the perfect gift, a sapphire pendant she'd been hinting about for a month. At 4 p.m. I was standing at the jeweler's counter watching it sparkle under the lights when my phone buzzed. Instagram notification from an account I'd forgotten she'd even added me to, her Finsto, the one for close friends. I tapped it. It was a mirror selfie. Maya, 29, half ready, rolling her eyes. Caption: anniversary dinner tonight. Ooh, stuck with boring boyfriend. Pray for me. Need a real one to take me to Willow Creek already. The resort she'd been begging to visit for months. I didn't rage, didn't even feel heat. Just this cold stillness. The kind you feel right before a storm breaks somewhere else. The saleswoman noticed my face. "Sir, are you alright?" I smiled politely. "I just realized I'm not making a good investment." I walked out of the store, sat in my car for 10 full minutes, didn't text her, didn't call, just stared at the mall lights flickering against the windshield. Then I started making a different kind of plan. Step 1. Cancel the dinner. $100 cancellation fee. Worth it. Step 2. Pull up the Willow Creek Spa and Resort website, the same one she'd been accidentally leaving open on my laptop. Step 3. Book the exact suite she wanted. Fireplace, soaking tub, lake view, $2,200, non-refundable. Step 4. Pack my bag and go. By 6 p.m., I was on the highway. No calls, no texts, just music, open road, and a com so sharp it almost HUMMED. At 8:15. I checked in. The lobby was all stone and cedar and soft piano music. My phone finally started buzzing, probably assuming I was running late. I ignored it. By 8:30, I was sitting in front of a fireplace, sipping an old-fashioned and cutting into a perfect medium-rare steak. Then I posted it, a photo of the drink, the fire glowing in the background, tagged Willow Creek Spa and Resort. The phone rang immediately. What the hell? Leah, you're at Willow Creek, without me. I took a sip. Seemed like a nice place. It's our anniversary. You ditched me for the resort I wanted to go to. Well, I said, calm as a surgeon, I saw your post. You didn't sound thrilled about being stuck with your boring boyfriend. I figured I'd help you get unstuck. Dead silence. Then a strangled, Leo, that was a joke. You're not supposed to be on that account. By the time I turned my phone back on Sunday afternoon, it looked like a digital crime scene. 32 missed calls from Maya, 18 from her best friend Alana, 5 from her mom, 2 from her sister. The texts range from sobbing apologies to all caps rage. Leo, it was a joke. Please, you're a monster. You owe her an apology. I owed no one anything. I got home, unpacked, made myself coffee, and sat in silence. Pure, heavy peace. For the first time in 4 years, my apartment felt like mine. I figured that would be the end of it. But Maya doesn't do endings. She showed up Monday night, key in hand, mascara streaked, eyes red. I was in the kitchen making a sandwich. You're just eating, she yelled, like nothing happened. Yep, I was hungry. You blocked me, you disappeared for days, and you humiliated me. You humiliated yourself, I said calmly. I just chose not to participate. It was a joke, she screamed. The new buzzword she thought would fix everything. You added me to that account. Maya, you forgot. That's not spying. That's you being sloppy. She tried to cry again. Softer this time. But our anniversary, the necklace. I thought this was our moment. I nodded. Yeah. I was literally holding it in my hand when I saw your post. Her eyes widened. You didn't buy it. Nope. Use that money for the trip. Fantastic weekend. By the way, you'd have loved the spa. The tears vanished. Her face hardened into something sharp. You're a monster. You did that to punish me. No, I did it to remind myself I don't buy $3,000 gifts for people who find me boring. Her jaw clenched. You can't just kick me out. I live here. You don't. You're not on the lease. You're a guest. And your stay's over. 30 days notice, she snapped, like she'd Googled tenant rights in the parking lot. I'll give you that, I said, but I'd prefer you gone this weekend. She let out this half howl, half sob, grabbed her purse, and slammed herself into the guest room. I heard her instantly calling Alana, wailing about how I'd thrown her on the street. I sighed, rinsed my plate, and went to bed. But Tuesday morning, her campaign began. Subtle, manipulative chaos. Cabinet door slammed when she walked by. My laundry accidentally ended up wet in the washer. Every time I entered a room, I'd hear her whisper "bastard" under her breath. It was like living with a haunted house. If the ghost had Wi-Fi and entitlement issues, she was trying to break me down, to make me feel guilty enough to crawl back, and for 3 miserable days. I almost laughed at the absurdity of it, because I'd spent years thinking Maya's attention was a gift. Now I realized it was a hostage situation. By Wednesday night, my apartment had turned into a low-budget soap opera set. I walked in from work and stopped cold, because there they were. Maya, Alana, and Alana's dead-eye boyfriend Ben, all comfortably parked in my living room like they paid rent. Maya was crying on the couch. Alana was rubbing her back with the enthusiasm of a bored nurse, and Ben was slouched in my favorite chair scrolling through his phone. Leo, Alana said, standing up like a disappointed kindergarten teacher. We need to talk. This has gone way too far. I dropped my keys into the bowl by the door. You need to leave. Ben frowned. Whoa. Man, we're just here to mediate. Maya's really hurting. This isn't cool. This isn't mediation, I said evenly. This is trespassing. Maya shot up, voice breaking. See how cold he is. He won't even talk to me. She made one post. Leo, Alana snapped. One stupid joke, and you're going to blow up for years. Throw her out like garbage. I actually laughed. The kind of laugh that doesn't sound healthy. It wasn't a joke, and it wasn't one post. It was a confession. She doesn't respect me. She thinks I'm boring. And she's been living here rent-free for nearly a year. Ben sighed, doing his best voice of reason impression. Dude, come on. You embarrassed her too, posting that photo at the resort. That was a low blow, right? I said. I embarrassed her. After she publicly called me a placeholder. Alana crossed her arms. You're a controlling jerk, Leo. No wonder she's miserable. Cool, I said, pulling out my phone. Dilding securities on speed dial. You've got 30 seconds to leave before they come escort you out. Their masks cracked at once. Alana muttered something about psycho vibes. Ben mumbled not worth it, and Maya started wailing again. You're throwing me out on the street. I just pointed at the door. 2 minutes later, I was alone again, for about an hour. Then, at 10 p.m., I heard the lock click. Maya, using her key, stomping straight into the guest room and slamming the door so hard one of my framed prints fell off the wall. I stood there in the quiet aftermath, staring at the broken glass on the floor, thinking, this woman truly believes consequences are optional. The next morning, I called a lawyer, explained the situation. He chuckled, not unkindly. Classic, he said. Give her a written 30-day notice to vacate. You could also try what's called cash for keys. Offer her $1,000 to leave early. Trust me, it'll be cheaper than a month of this. I thanked him, hung up, and checked my email. Then, for reasons I still can't explain, I opened my Amex app, and that's when I saw it. The new charge, $3,250. Merchant, Davenport Jewelers, the same store. The same sapphire necklace. She'd used my card. My throat went dry. I'd left her as an authorized user for groceries and emergencies. She decided her revenge shopping spree counted as both. It wasn't pettiness anymore. It was theft. I took a long breath. Then I did what I always do when things fall apart. I made a list. Call Amex, call the jeweler, call the cops if I have to. Because if Maya thought boring meant harmless, she was about to get a masterclass in calm, lawful destruction. The next hour was a blur of cold, deliberate movement. No yelling, no pacing, just steps. Step 1. I called Amex. Hi, I said evenly. I need to report a stolen car and a fraudulent charge. $3,250. My ex-girlfriend used it to buy a necklace. The agent asked, is she an authorized user? Was, I said, not anymore. Cancel her card immediately. Step 2. I called the jeweler. Hi, my name's Leo. I was in your store Monday. My ex, Maya, just made a purchase on my card. She was not authorized. I've filed a fraud report. That pendant is stolen property. The manager stammered. Oh. She said it was an anniversary gift. You approve? She lied. I'll be filing a police report if that necklace isn't returned today. By the time I hung up, my pulse was steady. Quiet anger had turned surgical. I walked down the hall, straight to the guest room, and opened the door without knocking. There she was, cross-legged on the bed, laptop open, wearing the necklace. My necklace, she smiled, slow and smug. Happy anniversary to me, she said. Since you were too cheap to buy it, take it off, Maya. No, she said, touching the pendant like it was sacred. You owe me this, for humiliating me, for that stupid resort, for 4 years of my life. This is the least you can do. I just got off the phone with MX and the jeweler. I said, the charge is cancelled. They're opening a fraud investigation. The store wants their merchandise back. You keep that necklace. It's felony theft. Her smirk cracked. You wouldn't. You'd ruin my life over a necklace. You tried to steal over $3,000 from me. I said quietly. Yes, I would. For a long moment, she just glared at me, trembling with fury. Then she whispered, you're a psychopath. Get your coat. I said. The drive to the mall was silent except for her muffled sobs. Halfway there, I hit record on my phone and left it on the console. Please, Leo, don't make me do this, she said. It's so embarrassing. I hate you. You're controlling. I'm glad I called you boring. Duly noted, I said, eyes on the road. At the store, I waited by the door while she handed the box to the manager, tears streaking her face. It was a misunderstanding, she mumbled. With the card, the manager looked from her to me. I nodded once. He took the box. We'll process the return immediately. The drive home was pure, vibrating silence. When we pulled into the garage, I put the car in park and said, I want you out by tomorrow. End of day. All your stuff gone, or I file a formal eviction and give the police that audio file. Your choice. She got out without a word. When I came upstairs 20 minutes later, She was already throwing her things into suitcases. The guest room looked like a hurricane in progress. The necklace was gone, but so was she. And for the first time in weeks, the apartment was quiet enough for me to hear my own breathing.